Let us hear from our birth recipient, our 2019 birth recipient, na he presented his research titled Operation Galugad, ELT-INFUSED, GLOCALIZED module and on experiential learning. He presented his research, birth research, in the Philippine Association of Institution in Research Incorporated during the Asian Virtual Multidisciplinary Research Conference and won a Best Presenter and International Speaker. He also presented in the Filipino-Australian Student Council of Victoria during the 8th International Research Forum on the Philippines and awarded as international speaker and commendation from the council. It is our honor and pride of the Division of Aklan to have our next speaker. Please welcome Sir Rafael Kevin Nagal.
Thank you very much, Doc Rafi, for that very modest and a very um, thought-provoking introduction about me. So I will be presenting my research entitled Operation Galugad, ELT-infused glocalized module on experiential learning. So just give me a few seconds. Right, so once again, good morning, everybody, especially to our new ASDS Sir Samuel and our SDS Sir Aposin, as well as to Dr. Rafi, to all the PSDSS and school heads, as well as the participants for today's INSET. So allow me to present first the locale of my study. And this is located at Libaco National Forestry Vocational High School. This is the school ground of the only forestry vocational in the Philippines. And the it is located in the island of Panay, specifically in Naklan, and that is in the municipality of Libacao. And this school caters junior high school and senior high school programs, focusing on the technical vocational aspects of the tracks in the senior high school. And now let's go to the title of my study. The study is entitled Operation Galugad, ELT-infused glocalized module on experiential learning. This is funded through the support of the BERF Region 6. Now, it is clear that the COVID-19 pandemic has utterly disrupted an education system that many assert was already losing its relevance. So, social distancing, mass gathering protocols, and other health protocols has affected the traditional teaching methods. And this, ladies and gentlemen, became the new normal. Well, amid social distancing issues, distance education offers a great opportunity to continue providing the basic right to education. So we have the 21st century learners, also known as our millennials. They are very much accustomed to this form of education because of their inclination the use of gadgets, the internet. Based on its advantages and disadvantages, it seems that distance learning is a catalyst to create a new, more effective method of educating students. Well, modular learning using print as well as non-print or in the digital form of modules offers the best strategy to overcome the delivery of instruction during this pandemic. So why did I conduct this study? Well, one of the background is this one. The Philippines ranked in the PISA 2018 results. The Philippines ranked in the low 70s in the 2018 program for international student assessment. It is a student assessment of 15-year-old learners across 79 countries done by the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, or the OECD. In the said assessment, the Philippines ranks last among the 79 countries in reading comprehension and also ends up in the low 70s both in mathematics and in science. Well, prior to the pandemic, we have scant learning resources, especially in the senior high school program. Well, one of the effects of this pandemic is that we already have a quantity of these LRs available courtesy of our EPSs. Now, the K to 12 is an activity-based curriculum. So, being activity-based, it is anchored in other theories as well. Now, what I infused in my study is the glocalization, the term itself. Glocalization is the simultaneous occurrence of both universalizing and particularizing tendencies in contemporary social, political, and economic system. So it's a linguistic hybrid of, well, localization is a linguistic hybrid of localization and globalization. So a good example will be in localization, we utilize materials available in our environment. Globalization in the instance that these materials can be replicated across the other countries. And that makes it a combination of globalization and localization. Now, why experiential learning? As I mentioned, the K to 12 is an activity-based curriculum. Now, anchored to the experiential learning theory by Kolb, most of the activity-based instructions in the validated modules try to accommodate differentiated learning strategies of every individual. So think of it like this. Experiential knowledge itself is like you're drawing something that is in black and white. But when we infuse experiential learning to that certain knowledge, well, we make it a better output, a better material. So the child can actually see colors and movements. This can be related to our daily practices. According to Kolb, there are actually 4 areas in which an individual can learn experiences. So we have concrete experiences, reflective observation, abstract conceptualization, and active experimentation. And well, when you take a look at this one, as mentioned earlier, knowledge are just these points or dots in the environment that we can actually have. However, if we put experiential learning to it, the experiences actually connects how we can actually utilize these knowledge, assimilate them, and differentiate them to our every practical usage. And the best way to do that is through the use of modules. So why Operation Galugad? From the word itself, it's actually common. I actually coined this term because of the popularity of the Operation Tokhang by the Philippine National Police before, when they gather pushers of the illegal drugs. So it's like that. We galugad, we explore. So the students in experiential learning theory attempts to explore the environment, utilize available resources to enhance their knowledge. And with that, I theorize that with experiential learning that is increased, well, knowledge acquisition is also enhanced. So what are the research questions of the study? First, what are the contents of the developed learner's material and its video accompaniment? Second, what is the level of learning experience of students before exposure to the learning module? Third, what is the level of learning experience of students after exposure to the learning module? And is there a significant difference in the level of learning experiences of students before and after exposure to the learning module in bioenergetics? Fifth question, what is the performance of students in bioenergetics before? And number six, after the interventions? And number seven, is there a significant difference between these performances before and after? Finally, I also correlated the significant relationship between experiential learning level and academic performance of students, whether there's direct relationship or not. Now, with this framework, the study was created. First, the validated module is there, would serve to enhance the student's level of learning experience. And as theorized earlier, it will also enhance student performance. So what is the design and the other methods of the study? Well, the research design is quasi-experimental research, specifically pre-test post-test design. The locale is at Libaco National Forestry Vocational High School. The respondents are all the grade 11 students. The instruments utilized are as follows. First, the researcher-made test, followed by the student evaluation of learning experience questionnaire, also known as SELEC. Now, the reliability of these instruments were tested using the KR20, and the value of the R is rated as 0.768. This is for the researcher-made test. On the other hand, the SELEC was reliability tested using the Cronbach's alpha, which generated the 0.77 R value. Now, to validate these, at least 3 experts were asked to check the content of the questions. The statistical tools utilized are as follows: mean, standard deviation for the descriptive statistics, t-test, and Pearson's R for the inferential statistics. To have a summary of the process of this action research, first I started with a pretest using the SELEC to evaluate the learning experience level of the students. It is followed by a pretest in bioenergetics post-test. It's post-test because I utilized the post-test in the module. So further that, after gaining the baseline data, the conduct of the classroom instructions using the learning module was initiated. And after that, student evaluation of learning experience questionnaire was again administered to determine if there's an increase in the learning experience level, and also the performance was also tested using the post-test. Now, for the results, for question number 1, what are the contents of the developed learner's material and its video accompaniment? So the learning module with video contents are as follows. Under the bioenergetics, we have the cell, photosynthetic reactions, and acquisition and utilization of energy, also known as cellular respiration. Now, if you could take a look, the first column here are the features. The second column are the contents of the learner's material. The third column are the features associated with video accompaniment. So if you could notice, it follows the standard A4 format with about the developers and introductory video as well. And subtitling is actually added to the video accompaniment because code switch was utilized so that the students can easily relate to the discussion. There is also the added knowledge checker or graphic illustration so that those that are related to the topic but is not the focus of the topic will be easily explained to the student for easy reference. There is also the inclusion of the pretest and the post-test, both in the material, in the learner's material, and the video accompaniment. Questions number 2 and 3. The student's experiential learning level before and after the utilization of the material. So their learning experience level before is rated as at 2.60, which is characterized or which is called as the moderate experience level. After that, another test was conducted for the learning experience level, and surprisingly, it becomes 3.51, which is high experience level. For question number 4, the difference in the student's learning level, experiential learning level before and after utilizing the learner's material. Using the t-test, the p-value of 0.000 was generated, which means there is a significant increase in the experiential learning level of students after the utilization of the learner's material in its video accompaniment. A t-value of negative 11.393 was also generated, and the test was conducted at 5% significant level. Questions number 5 and 6. The performance of students in bioenergetics before and after the utilization. So this is through the score of all the students, in total of 30 items. So the pretest mean score was at 12.78. That is barely half of the total score. For the post-test, it was actually raised to 21.17 over 30. So this is the differences between the pretest and post-test results of the students in their performances when we actually separated the topics from the 3 aspects or the 3 topics of the module. So for the cell, photosynthetic reactions, and cellular respiration. If you could notice, there is really a large or like 2 to 3 points significant differences between each of them from pre-test to post-test. For question number 7, the difference in the performance of students before and after the utilization of the learner's material. So another t-test was conducted to determine the significant difference between their performances before and after the conduct of the module. And it generated a p-value of 0.000, which means there is a significant increase in their performance after utilization of the material. P-value of negative 13.857 was generated, which is significant at 5% level. Finally, for question number 8, relationship between the learning experience level and the performance level of students before and after the utilization of the learner's material. And I'm very happy to say that this study has formed a significant relationship between the learning experience level of students as well as their performance in bioenergetics, as shown by the result of the p-value of the Pearson's R, which is 0.000. The coefficient or the R value of +1 was also generated, which means there is a positive linear relationship between the 2 variables. This means that if a student has enhanced learning experience level, their performance in bioenergetics also follow. This is also the scatter graph of the test. Now, to conclude, when learning materials are localized, contextualized, and infused with experiential learning activities, learners are more likely to be engaged in learning the concepts. The students have significantly increased their experiential learning levels after using the learner's material and its video accompaniment. This is mainly due to the localized and experiential learning infused activities embedded in the module. So take a look at the highlighted one. We can conclude further that with the experiential learning level of a student is directly related to his performance in a competency. Thus, to enhance student performance in science and in any other subjects, experiential learning must be taken into consideration. Now, what are the recommendations of the study? First, teachers should develop their own learning materials to ensure availability of learning resources both for him and the students, especially during this pandemic. Teachers may attend trainings and seminars as to the basics of development of the module. Teachers may provide independent learning activities through the use of the developed learning package to encourage self-paced learning. Here are my references. Now, this is the cover page of the learner's material. And let me show you some of the contents. So it is like this one. I would like to thank the following people who helped in the creation of this module. It's composed of like 42 pages discussing all the topics in bioenergetics. Now, here is a sample of one of the topics in the video-based module. Now, the video-based module is actually both a supplementary as well as a complementary for, or something, well, I mean, a supplementary or an independent material for learning for students. Okay. Okay, so as you could notice, there is a subtitle at the bottom. That is, whatever I speak in code switch in Bisaya or Aclanon or in Tagalog, there is a subtitle so that other global learners can have a translation of whatever I am speaking about it. So, like for example, this one. Okay. And um, so to actually see the documentation of the entire process, um, I really don't know if you can actually see this one though. Um, all right, so just a moment. All right. So I hope that even though you cannot see I mean, you cannot hear the whatever I'm speaking in the video, you can also watch that in my YouTube account. So these are some of the examples of the experiential activities that are included in the material. So this is for photosynthesis. Right. So as you can see, we utilized materials that are readily available in the environment, like the leaves. We have Mayana that is very endemic in Libacao. Well, we utilize test tube because they are available, but any other materials such as any glass can be utilized instead of the beaker. So this is one of their sample activities with regard to the topic of the cell. Okay, we utilize cell phones instead of microscope for this one for the visualization of the cellular components. Okay. Great. So I'm glad to say that this was already accepted, and the certificate of acceptance was already given to me by the regional office, and it's already binded and turned over to Dr. Rafi. I would like also to share the success of this research from one of the presentations I conducted. This was by the president of the Philippine Association of Institutions. Okay, so another thing, this was also awarded as center. Yes. Okay. And also, these are the awards received by the paper itself. I'm so happy to announce this one. And modesty aside, I would also like to thank the people behind this. My principal, Sir Ma'am Zenas Nicolas, our supervisor, Sir Isagan. During the approval, it was Ma'am Ayon and also Sir Rafi for the continuing support and guidance for the research, as well as Sir Nero, Sir Achavo, and Sir Aposin for the conduct of the study. Also Sir Johan and Sir Rapiz. Now, this is the recent win of the paper from the Filipino Australian Student Council of Victoria, the FASCO, during their International Research Forum on the Philippines. All right. So that she was one of the council of the FASCO. All right. So with that, I would like to thank Libaco National Forestry Vocational High School, the DepEd District of Libaco, DepEd Aklan, Division of Aklan, and the DepEd Region 6 for the opportunity to conduct the research. And I hopefully it would inspire people to conduct researches themselves as well. Salamat nga po, gid kinyo tanan. Once again, this is Rafael Kevin Nagal, and have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Kevin, for that presentation and for sharing your action research to all DepEd Aklan personnel, teachers, and school heads. I hope we inspire you with this story of Sir Rafael with his action research. So we encourage our teachers, our school heads, and even our non-teaching personnel to conduct research because it is really important that we have to develop this culture of research because our policy, our programs are anchored to the result or output of the research. And with that, we are very grateful to this opportunity to share our knowledge and ideas about conducting action research. And we do hope and we are looking forward that next time during our call up, our teachers and school heads will submit their action research proposals. Thank you and God bless us. God bless us all. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Doc Rafi Palier, for your presentation on action research. And thank you also to Sir Rafael Kevin Nagal for sharing your experiences for an action research presented in international level.